Hello everyone, my name is Omelogo, Nnadi, and I like to be called the Children Nurturer. This will be the fifth episode of the Children Nurturer series, and today I'd like to talk about what seems like a war between parents on one hand and teachers on the other hand. That is, who should be teaching what and how. Okay, so in January this year, I came across a post on social media that was talking about what the child should learn at home and what the child should learn at school. So I made a note of some of the things that I took away from that post, and it says that it is at home that children should learn to say hello, good afternoon, good evening, please, thank you, may I, sorry, please forgive me, thank you very much, I was wrong, I beg your pardon. It is also at home that children should learn to be honest, to be punctual, to be polite, to respect everyone, friends, colleagues, elders, and everyone. And then that it is also at home that children should learn to their table manners, to eat everything they've got in their plate, to not speak with a mouth full, to have personal hygiene, to not throw waste on the ground, to help parents accomplish their daily tasks, to not take what does not belong to them. And it's still at home that children learn to be organized, take care of their business, not touch other people's belongings, respect rules, speak their mother tongue, and master their culture and spiritual heritage. Because at school, teachers should teach mathematics, English, history, geography, the sciences like chemistry, physics, and biology, philosophy, sociology. And the only task of the teachers on these other things is to reinforce what the student has learned at home. So when this post came up on Facebook, there were all sorts of reactions. Parents reacted in different kinds of ways. There were parents who were saying, okay, so if the teachers are only going to teach the academics, what do we need them? I mean, that means there's no need for school then, because all these other things are a whole lot more and form a better part of the child's life. So if the teachers aren't teaching that and the school isn't teaching that, then we don't need schools. And then there was a parent that said, okay, so why are we paying the teachers if they can't teach these things? If they can't teach them and ensure that these things are practiced, so why are we paying them? Then there were parents who said, but the children spend the better parts of their life in school, so why shouldn't the teachers teach these things? There were lots and lots of reactions. There were for and against. And then so my take on this is, now, academics is what children go to school for, basically. Teachers to teach English, math, the sciences, and these other subjects. There is a curriculum. There is an outline of teaching. These things are taught via instruction and necessary note-taking. When students take notes, it means that they write these things in notebooks and they have to refer to these things periodically so that they can answer targeted questions and write exams. So over time, these things are continually referred to in places where they have been written down as the need arises. These are instructions. You need a board, you need to write them, you need to list them. They are uniform everywhere. But then come over to the important things like moral, like character, like uprightness, like honesty, like cleanliness, organization, caring, sharing, loving, giving, humanity. These things do not have a workbook for them. They do not have a curriculum. They do not have a lesson plan for them. They are living. They are life. They are things that form the core of the individual. And these things cannot be taught the way academics are taught. And that's where the fight comes now. Where should the children learn these things that do not have a plan, a curriculum outline for learning them. These things that do not have a workbook, where should they learn these things? My take is they should learn these things at home. And because they are not academics, the format for teaching them, when I say format, it now looks as if it's official and all. No, the strategy for teaching these things would are completely a total departure from the way they are taught at school, the way academics are handled. And how are they taught? Via example. You can sit a child down every day and tell the child things you expect the child to learn, and tell the child, I need you to speak the truth always. I need you to be well behaved. I need you to be respectful. I need you to know you have to leave the room when visitors come in. I need you to greet people when you see them, whether they greet you or not. Don't wait to be greeted. I need you to be kind. I need you to share. I need you to be gentle. I need you to ask for permission before you use something that isn't yours. I need you to be disciplined, to be respectful. You can sit a child down and talk about these things day in, day out, and it will yield no result. Why? Because these are not things that should be listed out and this child has to remember them. No. How do children learn best? I've said this in previous episodes and it keeps coming back. Children learn best via example. They imitate. Even adults imitate. People learn best via example. So if you want to teach a child these important things, instead of talking and talking and talking day in, day out, do these things. If you do them, you wouldn't need to say a word to them. They will learn. They would watch. They would see how these things are done. They will emulate it. And before you know it, becomes a part and parcel of them. Let me give you an example. Over the past, say, 2 weeks, maybe about a week or two now, I've noticed that my son, my 7-year-old, would carry his meal to the living room to go and eat. So we have a mini dining in the kitchen where we eat. But then I would dish the food, and because I have something that takes me away, I'm not eating with him. The next time I'm stepping out, I see that he's eating in the living room. I'm really like, why? So I try to not be quick to raise my voice at him, to scold, and I'll go like, why don't you take that to the kitchen? Sometimes by the time I come out, he's already done, but I see he's eating there. And I started to think about it 2 days ago, and I realized, because I've been so busy lately, I find that most times I bring my food with me to the living room so that I could work and eat at the same time. Sometimes I bring the food into my room so that I could work and eat at the same time. And he's been watching. And so he felt, okay, I don't have to eat on the dining table. I can go to the living room and eat. What did he do? He learned via example. He learned by observing. He learned by watching. I didn't say anything to him. So if I want to correct that, what do? No matter what, I dish the food, I eat in the kitchen. Even if I were to sweat there, I would eat there. I would take, if I had work to do and it was urgent, it needed to be done, and I also need to eat at the same time, I will take it to the dining room. If I do that, over time, he would learn. And say, okay, so mom is busy, but she still gets to eat on the dining, so I have to eat there. That is how children learn. Don't tell them greet people when you see them. When they see you greet people when you pass, they will learn. Don't tell them always take permission before you use something that isn't yours. If you want to use something that belongs to them, take their permission. You're the mom, you're the dad, but that thing belongs to them. It was bought and named as theirs. So if you need to use that thing, ask their permission. When you do that, they will learn that it is the right thing to do. Don't tell them, don't cut into conversations. When people are having conversations, don't cut in. You lead by example. If he is talking with his friends, you say, please excuse me, please may I ask you a question? They will learn. If you expect them to leave a room when the visitors come, if they have their friends around, you leave the room. And you want to monitor what's going on, do it from a distance. Children learn by example. You want an industrious child, become industrious around the house. You want a child who recycle stuff around the house and talk about it. Anything you need to teach a child, you have to set an example. If you're not setting an example, there is no way this child is going to learn. And you're expecting that the teachers are going to leave English and math and history and biology and chemistry and start training children you haven't trained at home. Guess what? Even if the teachers were to leave what they ought to do aside and start to teach these children these things, when they leave the school, because these things have been given as instructions and not practiced, they would need to go somewhere to go and practice where they are not instructions. And this place is the home. They get to the home and you're not setting the example and you're not doing these things. They have no place to practice. It's just like when someone is learning a language. You go to school, you learn a language. Say, I'm learning Spanish. I'm going to school every day, I'm learning Spanish. I come home, I'm not practicing with anyone. No matter, even if I spend 4 years learning it, if I'm not practicing it, I would lose it. I will lose it. So if the teachers are going to leave what they're teaching and start teaching your children these things, when they get home and there is no practice of these same things, it becomes of no use to them. So really, you are the ones who have to teach your children everything else that isn't academics, and you teach them by example. It means that you have a duty as a parent, as a caregiver, as a guardian to do the things right. Anything you want to teach a child, no matter how old that child is, set an example of these things. You wouldn't need to talk a lot. I sing a lot, I sing a lot. And guess what? My son now sings. And I think a lot of times I catch him trying to reflect his voice. And we're like, hey, you have to sing with your own level, your own pitch, voice pitch. Don't try to sing above your pitch, because that way you would not be able to sing something that would be melodious. Find your pitch and then sing with that pitch, and and develop it. But what is it doing? He's trying to emulates me. I sing a soprano. So most times he's listening to me sing in a soprano voice and he wants to sing in a soprano voice. But he needs to realize that he's a boy and he needs to sing like the male. So what do? Sometimes when he starts singing, instead of telling him, no, don't sing that way, I would find a key that he can easily sing on, and I will sing on that key. I say, let's sing it on this key. And I do that often and often, and over time he realized that I can actually sing on a low key and it will be very melodious, and after a while he continues that way. So listen, you don't need to talk a lot. You don't need it. Set the examples. Anything you need your children to learn, just do it. Do it. Be consistent, non-stop. Continue doing it. Over time, the children are going to learn these things without words. I learned a lot from my parents by just watching. Your children will learn from me. And remember, if these things you are doing now are bad habits, your children are learning. Make no mistake about it. So whether it's good or it's bad, whatever you're doing, your children are learning. So are you saying something? Are you teaching them something and doing something else? I'm sorry. It is that one that you were doing that they would emulate. If you lie over simple things and you think they are not watching, they are watching. They would learn to lie. Whatever you do, just know that the children are watching and they are learning, and that is what they would emulate. I hope you learned a lot from this. To have a great day. Bye.